Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune for Monday, the 17th of May, 2021. Let me move my keyboard out of the way here. Get my mouse over there. Well, I think the candles are all going here today. Sometimes I forget one. Anyhow, I hope you guys had a good week. Hope you had a good weekend. I know that there's supposedly the mask mandate is being changed, but I don't know about that. So we went to the grocery store yesterday, and I think there was only one young couple that were in there without a mask on, and they looked really uncomfortable. So I don't know. I suspect that we might be hearing some more guidance about it this week, but we'll see. Maybe they need to alter now that they see what the initial response is going to be. Maybe they need to alter some of it. I don't know. But I don't know how you leave people on their honor system in this. I really don't. I think they're going to have to check when you walk into a store if you've got your vaccination card. I don't know what else they're going to be able to do if they want to keep people safe in this interim time while people are getting their vaccinations. You know, if you don't have it, then you got to wear a mask. Doesn't mean you can't go in the store. It just means you have to wear a mask, right? So I don't think that they've done that. At least it doesn't seem like it. Maybe, of course, today's a new day, so maybe something's happened that I don't know about. We're on the West Coast here, and so we're 3 hours different from what happens there. So maybe decisions have already been made. I don't know, to sort of update that and make it a little more clear. And how it's like, okay, but how do we do that? So we'll see though. It may just be, we just may have to negotiate this the way that it is, and I hope not, but I just think that you can't throw everybody into the deep end. I think you have to have some way to transition through it, and maybe they just decided there was no way to do that. I don't know, given how people have behaved all this time. So I don't know. We'll see. But for the foreseeable future, if we're out at the store, we're going to wear a mask. It's just that simple. I don't trust the situation here yet. Things are spiking in my state. So, I don't know. I don't know what people expect. But at least we're both vaccinated. We've had both of them, so that's important. And, so we should be safe. But we're not sure what that means. I mean, what does it mean? We're safe. So, anyway. I guess when you've been one mindset for over a year, I think you just need maybe a little more information and a little more structure to open things up like this. So that's just my opinion, though. Vunyo is the rune for today. So joy and fellowship with others. You can kind of see Kenaz right here, this part of it. Well, I'll draw it out for you. Here's Vunyo. And what is it comprised of? Kenaz, turned inward. So the light of spirit turned inward. It's also Isa, the Norn rune of the present moment, or the static realm, the straight line. And also we have Laguz, flowing in spirit. So you can see, just from the runes that you can see in there, you can kind of get an idea of I mean, it basically describes fellowship and joy, or what can happen when you flow in spirit and you let spirit basically light your path now, and infuse, your perceptions and how you experience things. So let's take a look at the geomancy rune for today. Oh, looks like Fortuna Major, so greater fortune. I will show you that. Here we have Fortuna Major. You see two passive influences on fire and air, and active influences on water and earth. When you see a dual dot, two dots in geomancy, that's a passive influence. A single dot is an active influence. And so here, where this is Fortuna Major is greater fortune. Its complement is Fortuna Minor, which is minor fortune. But there I kind of look at that as a progressive type of a thing. So where you get, small payments here and there instead of one big windfall. That's kind of the energy between the two, the difference between the two, really. Um, so basically, we're going to be talking about living in joy and letting spirit infuse our perceptions really as our greatest fortune. That's how you're going to really look at those two. So let's see if the cards will bear that out, or if it's going to maybe take us in a little bit different direction. But I still like to have the runes as really the significator, the overall significator of the reading. Now, sometimes they can be an outlier, but we'll just see. Or maybe it's the reading that's actually the outlier. So anyhow, again, if this is your first time here, welcome, and click subscribe. I'd love you to do that and come back. We do Esoteric Influences on Sundays. You can sign up for that, for the newsletter as well, over on the blog. Links to all that are below the video here. But the web address for Stepping Aside is imsteppingaside.com. And over there on the side panel, it's on the left side of the blog, up toward the top, there's a newsletter sign up. It goes out either Saturday night or Sunday morning. And it has the Esoteric Influences in it and some other stuff. There's a calendar and all that in there. So anyhow, if you're interested in signing up for that, just go over to the blog and you can do that there. Try to do it before the next one, though, so you get that one. Let's see. But I do publish the Esoteric Influences on Stepping Aside. I also cross-publish it over on Medium, and then I do another version of it over on Patreon. So if you want to check stuff out in those places, you can. You have to be a member, though, over at Patreon. That's $1 a month, so there's that. But I guess that's it. But yeah, let's go ahead and take our first 3 cards and see what they have to say. And with this one, with this particular reading, the video, I don't do reversals. Sometimes I do in regular readings. I'll do reversals, but I kind of like to look at the whole card. I follow some of the teachings of the Kabbalion, and one of those is to look at things instead of either or, and straight up and reversed are kind of an either or, instead of looking at what it means here and what it means here is something separate. There's no reason why you can't consider all of it in one card. In other words, you shouldn't have to have a reversal to do that. But it's interesting because it does take the reading in a specific place. And so anyway, I'm working a little more with those than what I have in the past for other readings, but I'm not doing them yet here. I don't know that I ever will either. I just like to keep this as simple as possible, and given the time and when my software freezes up. So I don't know. That's what it is. So anyhow, we have the 10 of Cups here. So here you're looking at, with the 10 of Cups, you're looking at complete fulfillment, really. Contentment, honor, family, home. But it's emotional fulfillment. And it's like you've kind of, well, you see the line of demarcation here, this black line right here, and they're standing here, and then there's their home up on the hill there. You can see all the fertility, all the greenery. Now, you can see the radiance coming from all the cups there in the rainbow, but what we're talking about there is basically, it's a spiritual type of compassion and emotions and all of that. So what you really see there is the radiance from spirit. 10 is about completion. You start to see some of that with the 9. You start to see the endings. But with the 10, you come to it's sort of a dual Degas moment. And let me see if I can, well, I'll just draw it out. It's easier to draw it out. Degas is, it means new day. And you can kind of see the energy of the 10 when you look at Degas. Because Degas's energy at its saturation point becomes its opposite. You see here, it comes at saturation point, it narrows down, and then it becomes its opposite. All right? So what you can say there is one thing is coming to conclusion completely, and a new day is beginning. So you see that type of balance. If you were to close off the ends of the 10 there, the Roman numeral 10, if you were to just draw a line on either side, you'd have Degas, wouldn't you? And realistically, the 10 is about that type of movement, that type of energetic movement from one thing to another. So again, you can kind of see the demarcation there. They're in one place and then they're going to move into the new place, you could say. Everyone's happy. Mom and dad are raising their arms in celebration. He's got his arm around his wife. The kids are dancing. So everybody's happy. This could be the new home they're about to move into. So all of, the emotion that got them there, the commitment to one another, the reciprocity, the shared experience, and all of that has now resulted in a new home, basically, for these folks. And so the emotional fulfillment, the security that's found with that. Now, moving on to the next card, we have the Queen of Swords. Now, the Queen of Swords is my card. You see the Queen, an older woman of authority, sitting on a throne, looking toward the future. There's clouds surrounding her, so she's having to deal with deception. Things are moving swiftly. You can see the wind is blowing the tree there. You can see it's kind of moving. You see one bird up in the sky. But she reaches her hand out to people, inviting them to tell her the truth. Okay, because this is a woman who doesn't suffer fools gladly. She is not someone who's gonna listen to a bunch of garbage. She's not gonna listen to a bunch of deception. And so you see her sword straight up and down. All right. She expects things to be justice oriented. She expects things to be balanced and fair and honest. Otherwise, she's going to use that sword to cut through the nonsense. Okay, that's what she's going to do with it. And that's your Queen of Swords. She's got a powerful intellect. She may be a widow. She may not, she may be someone that she's been married, but now the king is dead, and so she's ruling on her own. But basically, there's a solitary nature to her. And again, she just doesn't like nonsense. I mean, she's like the crone. Crones don't like nonsense. I don't like nonsense, in other words. It's just, it's like, come on, man. I'm also a Libra, so you just don't want to listen to a bunch of stupid stuff, right? And that well, we don't. And the older you get, the worse it is. It's like, geez, just go away. Go have your illusion with someone else, because I don't need it. It's that sort of thing, right? And then we have the Page of Wands. I think we might need a fourth card here today, because I think that we're not really sure where this 10 belongs. But here we have the Page of Wands, which is really news. We're talking about a youthful person. The Page is about undeveloped potential. The Page is very similar to the Fool and the Ace, in that there is undeveloped potential in all three. Okay, the Fool doesn't really know until it takes its leap what it's going to be, even if it's going to be a man or a woman. Right? We don't even know its gender until it takes the leap of faith into form, and then the magician does his stuff, and with the outer issues and the physical form and the consciousness and all of that, and then the high priestess comes in and deals with the subconscious or unconscious self. All right, so we're seeing both dark and light and that's basically what we're talking about when we're talking about the leap. It's not just male or female gender. It's whether or not you're service to self and service to others. Whether you're aware of spirit or whether you remain unaware and have to work your way to that. So there's lots of different dichotomies that we go through, or polarities, if you will, that we go through when we take that leap into anything. And we do that every single time we begin something new. You go through that same sort of undeveloped potential process, right? And that's really what we have here. Like the Queen, he needs his wand to be straight up and down, or his staff in this case. He's in the Holy Land. You can see that. You can see the pyramids there. But here we're talking with wands, we're talking the fire element. So we're talking creativity, and we're talking opportunity, present moment awareness. So it's like in the now, transformation. Also now any page can be a seeker or a student. So again, that's undeveloped potential being expressed when they're in that mode. But again, so you're either looking at, with the court cards, you're either looking at the qualities of, I'm not going to take any guff from people, and I expect people to be honest, to here, we're going to remain in the present moment, and we're going to seek new opportunities, right? It's about transformation. Wands is transformation. Think the fire element, whereas swords is the air element, or communication, or interactions. Let's see, cups is, again, the water element. So emotions and compassion and empathy, change, momentum. So here we have a change, basically, with the 10 of new beginnings. And maybe what the foundation then of that has been that we are not going to take any nonsense from people. We're going to move forward in fairness and balance and justice. We're going to move, and in doing so, we create new opportunities for ourselves that then result in this sort of experience where we can now maybe the opportunity we've taken, we've now maximized it, we've saved up, we've purchased a home. Or maybe we've got that home already and we've just done some stuff to it, we've upgraded it or something. But we brought ourselves into a position where we're feeling more emotional fulfillment. Now, if you think about that, isn't that the, and maybe we don't need a fourth card, but I'm going to take one anyway. But here we have Fortuna Major, so we're already talking about the greater fortune, and that's going to align very well with the 10 of Cups. And then to live in joy and fellowship with one another also can sit above that as well. But let's do one more card and see if we can get an idea of where all this is really coming from. Obviously, we aren't going to take, we're going to focus on the truth with the Queen of Swords. We need the truth about things. And we also need that so that we can make the best of our new opportunities, so that we can then get ourselves in some kind of level of security where we feel emotionally secure. And isn't that how you feel when you have your home, and whether you own the home or you're renting, it doesn't make any difference. When the bills are getting paid and the family is growing and your kids are doing well, and you're healthy and you're giving back to the community or whatever, right? You have that sense of emotional satisfaction and security, that everything is in its place, and all the things that I've worked for are finally coming to fruition. And that's how I see that. And when you do that, then you live in joy and fellowship with other people, don't you? You take the 13th one. So yeah, it's really about coming together in harmony with other people. In order to do that, you got to have truth and honesty, don't you? You got to know who people are. You got to know what they're all about. They have to deal fairly with you. You have to deal fairly with them. They have to deal fairly with you. And then you take the opportunity that you have to come into balanced energy exchange with others. If you could see that garland up above there, you could see that it's crossed in an X pattern, which is exactly like Gebo. The rune Gebo is an X rune, and it's in the shape of an X. But what you have in all directions is Kenaz, that greater than sign. You have Kenaz in all directions, so it's the light of spirit infusing all of that. Now here you have a marriage that's happening. But again, you have the same line of demarcation here. Of this was then, we came into alignment with one another. You can see too here, in a way, the wands, it's the intentional, in other words, you're invoking the will to first come into balanced polarity with the self, with each individual, okay? And then together you're going to come into harmony with other people. So in this case, with a spouse. You can see it's the same sort of theme, although they're on the other side of that line because they've already gotten married, all right? If they hadn't, if it was still part of the ceremony, you would see them here. But you see it's already happened. They're raising their bouquets high. You see 3 of them there, sort of a mind, body, spirit balance, okay? That indicates that sort of integration between the two. You see their friends over here. You see their bridge to happiness there. You see the castle behind them, and you see the golden sky there. The sun is implied, so new day, new experience, new success, right? A successful union. You don't necessarily have to see the sun to feel the power of it, right? When you see the golden sky, the yellow sky. But roses signify happiness and joy and love, which was the basis then for the 10. Ultimately, we began in the 4, we ended in the 10. 4 is about structure and foundation. And so here we're establishing a new foundation based on trust, based on honesty, and based on the undeveloped potential of new beginnings and new creative opportunities. See, we end up coming into harmony with one another or with a partner, and then we're able to then create exciting new things. We do that again in fellowship and joy with others, which is then our greater fortune. So I guess for today, then that seems to be the energy of the day, where if we think about things in terms of remaining true to our word, remaining honest with one another, coming into harmony with one another, we can do great things today, and we can accomplish things. We can maybe bring one episode that we've been dealing with to a close and begin a new one, you see, and filled with undeveloped potential. But again, no nonsense, right? We've had enough of that. We've had enough nonsense that we've been dealing with, enough deception, enough lies, enough just garbage, right? It's time to get into the truth lane, in other words. And when you do, when you live in truth, instead of living in deception or someone else's manipulation of you, it's such a freeing experience, no matter what you're dealing with, because you don't have that heavy hand of deception sort of clouding everything. You know what you're dealing with. You know what the truth of it is, irrespective of what it is. And to have the freedom then to then act on that truth, in a way that's intelligent, that's in a way that expresses integrity. That's really what this is about. In doing so, we have our greater fortune, right? Because in doing so, we're able to come into harmony and joy with other people. So, go forth and be honest. Live your truth. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. And I'm going to write all this down in the book, and then we'll talk about it again. We'll refresh our memory on Thursday as to what this was, and see if maybe it kind of feels like we're turning a corner with the reading into something new. We'll see if that can be a little better defined on Thursday as to what that might be. Because I'm not sure. I think this is still general. But if not, maybe this signals this will be one reading and Thursdays will be a different reading that's unrelated. So anyhow, come back Thursday and see what it is. And, we'll talk again and see how tarot and runes can influence and improve our lives. So anyhow, have a great day. And, be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.